One second, just okay. So we studied something about the main thread. So why it is used, how it will, like it is the one which will help in creating other threads, and also it is the one which will be terminated at the last once all the processing is done. And also we studied about the set name function for giving the name to the thread. And also if you want to know what is the name given to the thread, you can use the get name function. And apart from this sleep function, it will pause the thread for certain time period. So like 1000 means 1000 milliseconds, the thread will be in the paused state. So like that. So this is regarding some introduction about the thread. So now we know about something about this main thread. So how do you create thread? How do you create thread in Java? So you can create the thread in two ways. Say one is by uh, extending the classes, and other one is by implementing the interface. So two methods are there. So you can use two methods to create a thread in Java. So um, we have two ways. So one is by implementing the runnable interface. By implementing the runnable interface, so there is an interface by the name runnable. So by implementing that runnable interface, you can create a thread. And there is a class called thread class. There is a class called thread class in Java. So by extending that thread class, you can create a thread. So I'll just show one example. I'll just show one example. Just show one example of this. Mm, one second. I'll just show one example of this. How it can be done. So I told you that we have two methods. We have two methods in which we can create a thread. So one is by extending the thread class, and the other one is implementing the um, runnable interface. So I'll just show how to do that. So once that is done, so we can see what is this implementing runnable interface contains, and and what will the extend thread class contains, and what is the difference between those two, or which is the preferred one, which you can refer that. So um, so we have two methods. So you just remember, you can create you can create the threads in two ways. You can create the threads in two ways. So these are the examples which are done for the last few years, which are stored in the system. So creating a thread is a two-step. See, two methods you can create a thread. See, one thing is there is a class. There is a class called A. So for this class called A, I want to create a thread. So usually I'll go with the demo, right? Usually the class name I'll write it as demo. No, I'll write it as demo only. Demo only. So now for this class called demo, I should create a thread. So for that we have two methods. We have two methods. One is through the interface called runnable. One is through the interface called runnable. So that is the one method. One is through the interface, and uh, the second one is through one is through the interface, and the second one is through the class. There is a class called thread class. So if I want to create the thread for my program using runnable interface, means I'll just write one line called interface. No, so implements that interface name. Runnable is the interface name. See, this one line, this two statements are sufficient to make this demo class a threaded application. Now you can create a thread. Now you can create a thread inside this demo class. So one thing. So this is through the interface thing. This is through the interface way. This is one way. Sir, I want to create it through the class called thread class. So for that, if you're creating through a thread class means, if you're creating through a thread class means, you can create it by using extends extends thread. So this is another way. This is another way in which you can create a thread. for this demo class. So we have two methods. We have two methods for creating a thread. So one is implementing the runnable interface, and the second one is extending the thread class. Are you clear with this? Is it understood how you can create a thread for your classes? So we have two methods. You can use any two methods for creating the thread. Either you can use the runnable interface or you can use the thread class itself. Any doubts here? Any doubts? Whether you understood this? How to create a thread for your Java program? Yes or no? See, respond. See, we have two ways of creating a thread. One is through the runnable interface and the other one is through the thread class. So class means always you have to use the extend keyword to create the relationship between two classes. Interface means you have to use the implements keyword for implementing that runnable interface. So here, first we'll check the first method, implementing runnable. So this is the easiest way to create a thread. So for a class to create a thread, you can follow this method, implementing the runnable interface. So what this runnable will contain, what this runnable interface will contain means it will contain a code for execution. It will contain a code for execution. So you can create a thread on any object which will implement this interface. So for implementing this, when you implement this runnable interface, only one method should be called. So that method is the run method. So you can create an interface, so you can create a thread by using the implementing the interface called runnable. So this runnable will contain a unit of executable code. So once this runnable interface is implemented, you can create a thread on the object which is implementing runnable. For example, demo. If I create an object of demo class, so from that object of demo class, I can hmm, I can create a thread. So for running the thread, for running the thread, what I need is I need only one method which is called as the run method. So inside the run method, I will write the code which will constitute the new thread. So always run method should be the one which can call another thread methods, or it can use other classes, or it can be used to declare variables, just like the main thread. See, the difference is that run method will act as an entry point for another thread for execution within your program. So once you create a class which will contain the runnable interface, you can create an object of the type thread from that class. So we have several constructors. We have several constructors for this. So all these constructors we will see. All these constructors we can see when we are implementing this. When we are doing the program based on this concept, we can do that. So once the thread is created, once the thread is created, it will not run until you call the start method. So there is a function called start function. So you have created the thread, but the thread will not start running until you start the thread. How you can start the thread means by using the start method. So the start method will be declared within a class called thread. So start, what it will do. So start method will make the thread to start running. So this is regarding the start function. So start function, what it will do means it can be used to start the thread. It can be used to start the thread. So how the program will write means first I told you class demo implements runnable interface. So after that you can create a thread. You can declare a thread reference. Then you can create an object for the thread. Then after that you can start the thread. So whatever logic you want to write, you can write it inside the run function, So all these things we will see when we are writing the program. When we are writing the program, we will just see how this uh, run function works, how the start function works, how the sleep function works. So this is one method. This is one method of creating a thread. So what is another method? Means this method is like using the thread class. That is by using the extends thread statement. So this is a second way to create a thread. So in this, what we will do means um, we will create a class which will extend the thread class. So after that, we will create an object of that class. So once the object is created, the class which we have created, so the class which has extended, for example, class demo extends thread. So the demo class should override the run method. The demo class should override the run method. So which is the entry point for the new thread. And also here also you must call the start function to begin the execution of the new thread. So here also see the logic wise, the programmatically when you're writing this logical, you should make small changes. That's all. Small changes. Here also you'll be using the run function. Here also you'll be using the start function. So only thing is small changes you should make. So what it will do is it will just create the thread. So now we know two methods. We know two methods of creating a thread. We know two methods of creating a thread. So which method you want to use? We have two methods. No, we have two methods. So which method is preferred? Um, so uh, so which method is best? See, we have two ways. We have two ways for creating this uh, threads, where one is the implementing the runnable interface and the other one is extending the thread class. So um, the one thing is the thread class has several methods. The thread class has several methods which can be overridden by the derived classes. So here the only method that must be overridden when you are extending the thread class is the run method. So it is like the same method which is required when you're implementing the runnable interface also. So what is the best way means this first method is the best one by implementing the runnable interface. By implementing the runnable interface, um, you will not be overriding other thread methods. See, because see, we have two ways of creating the thread. One is by extending the thread class, and the other one is by implementing the interface. So whenever you are extending uh, the thread class, so several methods has to be overridden by that derived class. But when you're extending the thread class, you're overriding only the run method. We are overriding only the run method. So what as a programmer will feel means, so the classes will be the classes should be extended only when we are modifying it, when we are only modifying it. So since we are only modifying the run method and we are not modifying any of the other methods when you're extending the thread class, so it is better if we follow the first approach. If we follow the first approach, where we'll be creating the thread classes by using the runnable interface. So like this. So we have two methods. For creating the thread. But the preferred approach is you can use any method, but the preferred one is the second method. Like the one where we are creating the thread by using the implements runnable interface method. So most of the examples in the textbook, you can see that they are following the second, the approach where they are implementing the runnable interface. So like this. So this is regarding how you can create a thread in Java. Any doubts? Any doubts regarding this? Any doubts? Any doubts? So we have two methods. We have two methods of uh, creating a threads in Java. Um, so one is by the runnable interface, and the second one is by extending the thread class. So let us check few examples. Let us check some examples of this uh, threaded application. So you will also understand. You will also understand it better. So I'll just write a program. I'll just write a program. Hmm, with basics like how do you for the main thread how you can change the name and all, so and also how we can create a simple thread application. So all those things I'll just write it now. One second, I'll just share this. So this is I'll just create a class now. So I've created a class called demo. So for this, I'll write one program. So yesterday we spoke, right? So how we can change the name for the main thread and all. So that we will study now. That we will just study now. Mm, so I'll just write a program for that. Just write a program for that. Public class demo. Public class demo. After this, after this, static void argument. See here I'm not creating any thread. So that's why I'm not making use of those extents implementing runnable interface. Here I told you that we when the program starts we will have one main thread. So here we are uh, we are just trying to get the name of that main thread. So that's why I'm not creating any additional threads. I'm not creating any threads. So that's why I'm not using I'm not extending the thread class, or I'm not implementing the interface. I'm just controlling the main thread. So this program will show us that even the main thread, even the starting point of the program will start with a thread, which we will call it as the main thread. So how to get the main thread means we have one function called current thread. So we have one function called current thread function. So using this function, we can get uh, the reference of the current thread. So for that, you can call that this belongs to thread class. So t thread t is equal to thread dot current thread. So this function will return the reference to the currently executing thread object. What is the thread that is currently executing? That reference will be given. That reference will be given, and that reference I'm storing it in a variable called t. So now I'll just print that system dot out dot print ln print ln. So print ln system dot out dot print ln. What is that? This is my current thread now. Current thread. This is my current thread. So I'll give some current thread t. So now if I if I run this, you just see what output you will get. If I run this, what output you will get, you just check. So this is one class. I'll just delete that. I'm running this. Okay, one more application. See, this is the output you are getting. See, I have some issues with mouse because of which only um, the pointer is not behaving properly. See, you can see that. See, current thread, it is the one which have given, which is the line which have written here, current thread. So even if I make some changes also, so that will just get printed. So current thread, save and build. So you can see, so this is the output. So this is the reference. So the reference, we're getting it as some t. So current thread, uh, what you are getting, current thread, some colon, then the name of the thread. The name of the thread, it is in the main function. So it is main thread, and it is not having very high priority, and it is not having very low priority. It is having the medium priority. So that's why uh, you're getting the output as 5. So so here, uh, here we are seeing three three things. Here we are seeing three things. No, the first one is the name of the thread. So we have three parameters. This is the name of the thread. This is the default name which is given for the thread. The second one is the priority. The second one is the priority. And the third one is the name of the group, the name of the group to which it belongs. So by default, here the name of my thread is main, and its priority is also 5. It is also the default value. And what is the name of that group? It also belongs to main, is also the name of the group of thread to which it belongs. So this is how it is grouped. So first one, name of the thread, default priority of the thread, and to the group, and the group to which it belongs. So here my default name is main, default value is 5, and the default group to which it belongs is main. So now I want to change my name. I want to change this default name. How I can change? How I can change means by using set name function. So it is stored in a reference called t dot set name, t dot set name, and name I will give. So this is my thread. This is my thread name. I'll just give it as this is my thread name. So if I give this, you check the output. This is my name. This is my thread name. And after this, after this, uh, after changing the name, after changing the name. Okay. So I'll save this. I'll run this. So you can see now the default name is replaced with the name which I have given. So this is my thread name. Or if I give it as my thread, I'll just give it as my thread. So save, build. So this is my output. So this is the output which I will get. This is the output. So here the default name has been changed with the name of the thread. So hmm, after this, I'll just uh, we'll talk about the sleep function, right? Sleep function, no. So we'll just implement the code for that sleep function. So what I will do means I'll just write a code. I'll just write a code for that, for integer I equal to 0. So some for loop, that's all. I less than 5, I plus plus. What I will do, I'll call the sleep function. So before calling the sleep function, I'll just print system dot out dot print ln sleep function. So then thread dot sleep for how many milliseconds? So you can see milliseconds. I'll take it as 1000. I will take it as 1000 milliseconds. So um, since I'm calling this threaded function, so I have to handle some exceptions, like I have to handle the interrupted exception. So this entire code, I'll write it within the try block. This entire code I'll write it within the try block. So after that, within the catch block, I have to handle interrupted exception. So I'll interrupted exception, which is E. Some name should be given to that, and handling that exception. Some dot out dot println. Okay, some message so that the main thread is getting interrupted. So, um, so now I'll run this code. Now I'll run this code. If I run this code, I have to get the output like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to get the outputs like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll just run this. You can check. Can check. Save. I'll run this. So see, you can see the output 0 to 4. You have to get the output 0 to 4. But when it is printing, there is some delay. There is some delay. You can check. So that is the thread is getting paused for 1000 milliseconds. So if I make it as 100, if I make it as 100 milliseconds, and I'll run. See, it is no, it is now faster. I'll make it as 1000. I'll make it as 1000. You can check 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So in between the printing of 2 and 3, the thread is waiting or it is pausing for 1000 milliseconds. So if I make it as 10,000, so that the time will be much more. So you can see it has printed 0 and it will wait for 10,000 milliseconds. It will wait for 10,000 milliseconds to print 1. See. So now again it will wait for 10,000 milliseconds to print 2. So like this, um, we are using this sleep function. So it is used for pausing purpose. So you can check. So each time when it is printing, when it is printing the value, it is waiting. It is waiting. So that thing you should remember. So each time it will wait before printing. So this is one example of print. Sorry, the sleep function. So did you get this? Is this concept clear? Did you understand this? Yes or no? So what you have learned here, one is the sleep function. The second one is how you can change the name for the thread. So that is one thing you have learned. So two things you have learned. Any doubts here? Is it clear? Is it clear? Yes or no? Did you get this? So if it is clear means then we can proceed with how we can create a thread, how we can create a thread. So is it clear? Yes or no? So the next one, so the next one, how we can create the threads. Now we have studied two ways of creating the thread. So we'll write that, we'll implement that. So one method is extending the thread class. So I'll just extend the thread class demo extends thread class demo extends thread class. So this is the first method. So extend the thread class here public. We have to override the run method. So in the run method, I will be writing the logic. I'll be writing the logic inside the run method. Thread is running. Thread is running. I'll just write the logic here. The thread is running. So after this, I'll just write the main function. Okay, I've written the main function. I've written this. So now, now I'll just I've created a thread. I've created a thread. I've created a main function. I've created a thread by extending the thread class. By extending the thread class, one way of creating. I've overridden the run function, and then I'll try to I'll try to run this. So when I try to run this, I'll not get any output. I will not get any output. Even though I've created the thread will not start working, or the thread will not start running. Why? Because I have to call the start function. I have to call the start function, then only the thread will start running, or the thread will start working. So demo d, I'll just write it as demo d is equal to new demo. I'm creating the object. I'm creating the object. So I've created the object. So even after creating the object also, you'll not see any changes in the output, because even though I have defined the run method, even though you have implemented the run method, the logic for the run method is not, I mean, you're not starting the thread, you're just creating the thread, and the thread is in the waiting state, or it is in the ideal state. So how to make the thread start working, how to make the thread to start running means by calling the start function. By calling the start function from the object of this class. The object of this class is D. So demo, I've created an object of this class which is extending the thread class. One point which you would have seen here, the extended class must override the run method. So demo class is the one which is extending the thread class. So it is overriding the run method. It is overriding the run method. It is overriding the run method. So this will be the entry point for the new thread. So after calling the start method from the object of this class, you can see the thread will run. The thread will run. So that's why you are getting the output. So even though if you have created the thread, you should remember that you have to implement this start method. Once you implement the start method, then only the thread will start running. Otherwise, the thread will be in the thread will be in that state only. The thread will be in that waiting state only. So, uh, so this is the one thing. So this is the one thing. So we are following one more method. We are following. So this is one way of creating the thread. Another way of creating the thread is by implementing by implementing means by implements what is the interface called runnable interface. So this is second method of creating the thread. This is second method of creating the thread. So for this, what changes you have to do? So for this, apart from um, creating apart from implementing the interface, the first thing you should do is you have implemented the run method. You have implemented the runnable interface. So and also you have created the object of this class demo. But this object should be passed as a parameter. This object should be passed as a parameter to this object should be passed as a parameter to the thread class. So like this new thread of D. So which I'll store it in a reference variable called T. So this object should be passed as a parameter inside this thread class, inside this thread constructor. So and now that reference will be stored in a variable called T. And now you can start the thread by calling T dot start. So I'll just uncomment this the same here. Even if I run also, I'll not get the output because the thread has been created, but the thread has not been started for the execution. So I'll call T dot start, which will start execution of the thread. So now you are getting the output. See, in lab also you will create three threads. Thread T1 is equal to new thread, thread T2 is equal to new thread, thread T3 is equal to new thread. Unless you start each of the threads by using the start function, it will not start running like T1 dot start, T2 dot start, T3 dot start. So if you call those functions, then only the thread will start running. So what difference is there between the first method and the second method? So this is the one which is preferred. So this method you will find it in, this is the one method which you will find it in your textbook also. So this is the one which is preferred. So um, see here, why we are using one additional line, why we are using this one additional line here means, since we are not extending the thread class, the object D will not be treated as a thread object. Since I'm not using the extended thread extends thread method, since I'm not extending the thread class, this object D will not be treated as a thread object. So I have to explicitly create a thread object. I have to explicitly create a thread object. So for this thread object, I am passing the object of the class which is implementing the runnable interface so that the run method can be executed. So that's why, since why I'm using one extra alignment, since I'm not extending the thread class, this object D will not be treated like a thread object. So for that, I should create explicitly a thread class object. So for this thread class object, I'm passing the object which implements this runnable interface so that the run function can be executed. So that's why I'm adding one extra line. So this point you should remember. This point you should remember. So these are the two ways of creating the threads, and this is the preferred one. This is the preferred method, the one which I've shown at the last. So any doubts? Any doubts with respect to these concepts? So where what we have studied in this class means the main thread, how to get the reference of the main thread by using this current thread function. After that after that how to create the thread, one is by using the extended by extending the thread class, and the other one is by implementing the runnable interface. And in both the places we are using the run function. If you're not using the run function, you will get an error. So that is the entry point for the thread. So in both the places I'm using the run function. So you just keep these points in mind. So any doubts? Any doubts regarding the today's classes? Any doubts? Okay. I'll just stop the class now. So you just practice these programs also. So anyhow, you have one lab program based on the threaded applications. So shall you any doubts? You just let me know.